Fox Sports.
We are Blackboard. We are Arizona.
It's a pair of Cy Young winners going head-to-head here in Philadelphia. The D-backs holding the National League's best record. Look tonight to clinch their 8th straight series win to open the year. This one should be a lot of fun. Join us for the D-backs and the Phillies on Fox Sports Arizona. Good afternoon from Citizens Bank Park and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brenly along the way. The second of a 3-game series, D-backs and Phillies. And what a pitching matchup this should be. A couple of Cy Young winners going head-to-head, both coming off wins, Bob, in their previous starts.
Yeah, you know, you look at the probable starters for upcoming series, and every now and then you circle one. This is one you definitely wanted to circle. You mentioned Zack Greinke's last time out. He was outstanding against the Giants. 7 innings of 3-hit, 1-run ball. That was a Brandon Belt solo homer in a 3-1 Diamondbacks win. He only threw 88 pitches.
Greinke, the Cy Young winner in 09 with Kansas City. Jake Arrieta won his in 15 as a Cub. He's a new Philly, and he was electric against Pittsburgh in his last start.
Now 10 punch-outs against only 1 hit in shutting out the Pirates over 7 innings. This guy's got wicked stuff and a very unusual crossfire delivery. Tough to see his pitches.
We're hopeful the rain will hold off. So far, so good. First pitch is next on Fox Sports Arizona. D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. By Gila River Hotels and Casinos, the card by Gila River Casinos earns you rewards 10 times faster than ever before. Sign up for the card today. And by your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money. Degrees. Welcome in, Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brenly, Todd Walsh along the way. We're hopeful to stay dry tonight. You get a different forecast from every person you bump into. Now it's going to rain. No, it'll hold off, so nobody really knows. And we'll hope for the best here. The D-backs with the National League's best record at 16-6, their best start in 10 years. And they've got Zack Greinke on the mound against the Phillies' Jake Arrieta. Bob, this should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, with these two starting pitchers, very little chance it's going to rain base hits here tonight. Both guys coming off solid outings. And you mentioned the 2015 Cy Young that went to Jake Arrieta, one of the closest Cy Young ballots ever. Zack Greinke finished second.
How about that? D-backs have won 8 straight games here at Citizens Bank Park. That's a franchise record for longest winning streak in any opponent's ballpark. So the luck here has been good. And here's the lineup for Torey Lovullo's ball club tonight. It's brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealers.
David Peralta can't wait to get up there and get this one started. He'll be out in left field. Ketel Marte moves over to shortstop tonight. Paul Goldschmidt will be at first base. A.J. Pollock in center field. Daniel Descalso down at third base. Chris Owens moves into second base tonight with Gerard Dyson in right field. Jeff Mathis doing the catching for right-hander Zack Greinke.
Of course, the D-backs won the opener here last night, and a win tonight would give them 8 straight series victories to begin the season. No major league team has done that since the 0-1 Seattle Mariners. And you have to go all the way back to the 77 Dodgers to find the last National League team to open a series with 8 series wins.
How about that? Stay hot. I think that's every team's goal coming out of spring training, at least early in the season. You just want to win series. Find a way to win series, and the Diamondbacks have been outstanding through their first 7.
The Fanatic is ready to go, and I hope you are ready to go with your Valley Honda dealer's key to the game.
Always ready to go. A couple aces on the mound tonight. Let's trump their ace. How about that?
Get them out here. By the way, this is the official birthday of the Fanatic, as they say here, the most beloved mascot in all of sports. He was born on this day back in the day, and they're going to celebrate officially over the weekend as Jake Arrieta and the Phillies take the field. Arrieta is your Ram truck starter. Signed to a free agent contract in the middle of March. He missed most of spring training, but is 2-0 so far. Heavy sink in life on his fastball. He just struck out 10 Pirates his last time out last Thursday.
Yeah, he used to throw a wide variety of different pitches, 3 different fastballs. He's kind of eliminated that down to just that hard, heavy sinker in the low to mid-90s. Also mixes in a curve and a slider from time to time. And as I mentioned in the open, the crossfire delivery is what really ties up hitters. He steps to the third base side of the mound, throws back across his body, really hides the ball well.
For a look around the diamond at the Philadelphia defense, it's presented by E.D. Marshall Jewelers.
I want my hair to look like that. Odubel Herrera out in center field tonight with Rhys Hoskins in left. Aaron Altair in right field. It'll be Michael Franco at third base. J.P. Crawford at shortstop tonight. Cesar Hernandez at second base. Oya Komova, Carlos Santana over at first base. Andrew Knapp doing the catching tonight for right-hander Jake Arrieta.
Ed Hickox is our plate umpire today. He'll have the balls and strikes. John Tumpane is at first base. The crew chief Jerry Meals is the second base ump, and Gabe Morales is at third. The Phillies open the season 1-4. They really got off to a tough start, but even with last night's loss, they've won 13 of their last 17 and are 9-2 at home here this year. That matches their best ever home start through 11 games.
Gabe Kapler had to have doubts after that first week of the season. Every move he made was overanalyzed and dissected and criticized, but his team has turned it around, played much better ball recently, especially here at home.
So the D-backs looking to make it 2-0 on this road trip, 2-0 against the Phillies, and David Peralta at .316 and 2 homers will lead it off.
Considerably warmer tonight, partner. It was chilly and rain in the forecast last night. Hopefully the rain won't come until we're done here tonight.
Yeah, the clouds for the most part right now and most of the afternoon not as thick and heavy as they were last night. We played the last 4 or 5 innings last night in a steady heavy rain.
Flags blowing pretty much straight in from left center field tonight, as if these two pitchers needed anything else working in their favor.
And right away Arrieta's ahead 0-2. David singled, had a big 2-run double last night. Already his 8th multi-hit game this year.
Knapp's running out of fingers back there. Went through everything Arrieta throws. He's got something specifically in his mind. Knapp didn't get to it. It's like a curveball.
Well, Arrieta throws that hard, heavy sink, one sinker after another. He's pretty much done away with a 4-seam fastball. He likes that changeup and curveball combo against left-hand batters. 2-2. He'll usually save the slider for 2 strike counts against right-hand hitters. Ketel Marte on deck.
Now, you're right about that heavy sinker. He'll throw that when he's behind in the count. He'll challenge hitters with it.
There's a lazy fly ball. Aaron Altair is out there in right field. He calls off Herrera, and that's the first out.
You know, I mentioned that 2015 Cy Young in the National League going to Jake Arrieta. Zach Greinke was second. It was the closest Cy Young award they had had, and two pitchers with an ERA under 2 since 1985. Doc Gooden and John Tudor both had ERAs under 2 that year.
If you look at the numbers that Greinke put up that season, you wonder, wow, who was better than this?
Yeah.
It was Jake Arrieta. Ketel Marte had a single last night. That's over Arrieta. Crawford can't get it. Hernandez either. It rolls into center, and Marte has a 1-out single.
With that heavy sinker that Arrieta features, you get the feeling that the hits the Diamondbacks get tonight are going to look just like that. Ground balls that find holes.
Paul Goldschmidt, 273, 4 homers. One of the signature plays of last night's ball game. Goldie hustling and just legged out an infield single in the 8th inning and scored a run. The situation, as you pointed out, Bob, a lot of guys in his position would have kind of just jogged up the line, and
he doesn't know how to do that.
it was nearly 4 hours into a rain-soaked game, but Goldie had a leadoff single in an 8th inning. Nationwide Vision Centers, eye on the game. Defense shaded over toward the left side of the infield. You mentioned the crossfire with Arrieta. That's the same thing that Torey Lovullo was telling us before the game today. Guys who haven't seen Jake Arrieta are going to need an at-bat or maybe two to kind of adjust their visual look at him, because it's a different approach than they normally see. There's a hard one at 95.
I've talked about it many times in the past, trying to find that release point, an imaginary square or circle above the pitcher's throwing arm, where his hand is going to come through. You picture a TV screen or a circle right there. When you see the hand in that circle, you try to pick up the rotation as quickly as possible.
Crawford at shortstop. Hernandez for a 1, and they roll the double play. We'll head to the home half of the first. Zach Greinke coming up in Philadelphia. Right-hander Zach Greinke. Zach has won his last 2 starts, wins over the Dodgers and the Giants.
Well, we know all about Zach. Command of that fastball, mix in an occasional cutter, mix in an occasional changeup, a hard changeup. And with that wind blowing in tonight, you don't have to be quite as fine with your command. If you miss up in the zone from time to time, it might be okay tonight.
Cesar Hernandez, the switch-hitting second baseman, leads it off. Hernandez in there, 291, a pair of home runs. And he walked and singled twice last night, had an RBI and scored a run. Yanks this one down the line, and that's a fair ball. It's in the corner. Hernandez will round second and head for third. Dyson has a problem picking up the baseball, and Hernandez is standing at third to start the ball game.
That ball kind of died out there on the warning track after it gets past Gerard Dyson out there in right field. It kind of checks up on the warning track. He's got to run it down. By the time he gets to it, Hernandez is on third base with a leadoff triple.
His first triple this year. Good start for the Phillies. Here's Carlos Santana. He's had a slow start. 154 and 2 home runs. Santana and Arrieta were the 2 big free agent signees for the Phillies this winter. D-backs have the shift on. Santana last night 1 for 5. He singled and scored a run. He also struck out 3 times, his first 3 strikeout game of the year. That's fouled away. Let's take a look at the Phillies lineup. That's presented by your Valley Chevy dealers.
Second baseman Cesar Hernandez led it off with a triple. Carlos Santana, the first baseman, at the plate right now. Odubel Herrera will be in center field. Reese Hoskins in left. Aaron Altair in right. Andrew Knapp doing the catching. Maikel Franco at third base with J.P. Crawford at short, and Jake Arrieta on the mound.
Oh, they have changed the scoring on that. Take away the triple. It's a double and an error by Dyson. Puts Hernandez at third. So E9. 1 and 2 on Santana.
Boy, with Ketel Marte playing almost a straight up shortstop position, nobody else on the left side.
That's fair down the first base line. This will get Hernandez home, and it's 1-0 Phillies. Our eye on defense for the D-backs, brought to you by E.D. Marshall Jewelers.
Outfield will be Peralta in left, Pollock in center, Dyson in right field. The infield will be Descalso at third, Marte at short, Owings at second, Paul Goldschmidt over at first base with Jeff Mathis behind the dish for right-hander Zach Greinke.
So right away, Greinke in a 1-0 hole. Here's Odubel Herrera back in the starting lineup tonight. 329 and a home run, the center fielder. Wild swing by Herrera. He's always a bit of a mess up there.
Pretty sure it's going to come off again if he swings like that.
It's a little loose.
Yeah.
Maybe he should have one of those straps like you have in Little League sometime. Herrera was hit by a pitch as a pinch hitter last night, so his 7-game hit streak remains intact. And he's got a knack for getting on base. He's reached base safely in 24 straight games dating back to last year. That is the longest active streak in the majors.
And for my money, the most uncomfortable stance in the big leagues.
It looks like it hurts.
He gets all widened out up on the inside of his right foot there as he takes his stance, and then the big leg kick.
And he knocks it into center. Second hit against Zach Greinke. So make it 25 consecutive games reaching base for Herrera. And here's the left fielder, Reese Hoskins. 328, 4 homers, leading the majors in on-base percentage. That OPS is over 1,100 now. Boy, how about a guy that hits cleanup with a 495 on-base percentage? So he's getting on base half the time he's up there. Owings at second, almost right behind the bag. Nationwide Vision Center's eye on the game. All kinds of room on the right side of the infield.
Talked to a writer today that knows Reese Hoskins a lot better than I do, and he said that he's amazed by the similarities between Hoskins and Paul Goldschmidt. Both obviously very talented offensive players, both leaders of their ball club, and both very humble superstars.
Yeah, same kind of personality, same kind of approach at the plate. A lot of walks, a lot of power. Both from the right-hand side. High in the air near the corner, drifting over there is Dyson. Still under it, not much foul ground there. He's got it in foul territory. That's the second out. Here is the Avondale native, Aaron Altair, in right field tonight. 167. He's homered twice. Altair last night walked and had a 2-run double that tied the game up in the third inning. He sits safely in 3 straight. Showed up as a strike, but Ed Hickok says ball 2.
And you got to keep an eye on Herrera. Only 2 stolen base attempts this season. He's been successful on 1 of those attempts, but with 2 outs in the inning, wouldn't be surprised to see him try to get himself into scoring position for Altair.
See, Greinke wanted that pitch. Those are the borderline pitches that he needs to get guys to either swing at or have called for strikes. Really patient teams that see a lot of pitches can give him trouble.
And this Phillies lineup is filled with patient hitters.
Good example right there. Altair doesn't bite, and now it's 3-0.
We have 4 of the top 15 in the National League in pitches per plate appearance. They will make you work.
The catcher Andrew Knapp would be next. Herrera still holding in first. That one below the strike zone, but it's 3-1. Full count, 3-2.
It always amazes me how Zach Greinke can throw an 89-mile-an-hour fastball on the inside part of the plate and lock up a hitter that's probably looking for a fastball from the middle in.
Why do you think that is?
I just think it's something about his delivery, that grunt at the end of the delivery, that short arm stroke that he has out there on the mound. I think the 89 looks like 99 to right-handed hitters when that ball's moving in.
Herrera leaning towards second there. Saw Greinke shake off Jeff Mathis a couple of times. Herrera will occasionally make a base running play that leaves you shaking your head. He's off with a pitch that time, and Greinke, who was behind 3-0, comes back to strike out Aaron Altair, but the D-backs trail at 1-0.
Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. And by Jack in the Box. This season, D-backs home runs score free Jumbo Jacks only at Jack in the Box.
We're in Philadelphia, Citizens Bank Park, downtown Philly in the background there. Overcast, but so far so good. A little warmer than it was last night and certainly drier to this point. Jake Arrieta, the new Philly, stake to an early 1-0 lead. A.J. Pollock leads off the second inning. Fastball at the knees. Ed Hickox is not calling that low strike. It's 1-0. A.J. 282, 5 homers. He walked, singled twice, and scored twice last night. Leads the D-backs in RBIs.
Oh, Arrieta's had a lot of swings and misses on that sinker this year. That's a pitch that's usually not meant to be a swing and a miss pitch. Generally, pitchers throw that sinker because they want you to hit the ball on the ground, let their defense work behind him. But his has so much movement, he gets a lot of swings and misses on that pitch. Watch out.
Arrieta beat the Pirates here Thursday, and those that were here said he had no-hit stuff. It was the first time he's pitched at least 7 scoreless innings with 1 or fewer hits and at least 10 strikeouts since he no-hit the Dodgers in 2015.
Yeah, Pittsburgh manager Clint Hurdle said it's the best he's seen Jake Arrieta since 2015. We've talked about that Cy Young year. 22 wins, a 1.77 ERA.
He retired 17 of the last 18 hitters he faced in that ball game Thursday. And even he had to admit, you know, other than location with the changeup, it was about as good as he's been. And he pretty much had command at will, he said. And when a guy like this can throw it exactly where he wants all the time, you're in for a long night. It's right there on 3-1, full count with Descalso on deck.
That's a frightening thought for National League hitters,
isn't it?
Best he's ever felt. These guys throwing 2 no-hitters in his career. Been one of the best right-handers in the game. Frightening to think that he's going to get better.
He was able to get a little extra pop on his fastball last week, really for the first time all year, he said. Hernandez at second, drifting underneath this one. Here is Daniel Descalso in there at third again tonight. 189 now, 3 home runs. He walked and homered last night.
Probably could have made a lot of money betting Diamondbacks fans which 3 guys are going to hit home runs in the game last night.
I mean, look at that rain. This was Descalso in a soggy 8th inning. Correct answers were Avila, Dyson, and Descalso.
Yeah, and Avila's was a tape measure blast off the facing of the second deck, and Gerard Dyson's was nothing to sneeze at either. He hit it way back in the right field bleachers.
Doesn't get the call inside from Ed Hickox. 2-0. Daniels hit safely in 3 of his last 4 games. Torrey was telling us today, as this one gets into the seats, that what they really want to avoid is, as he put it, getting caught up in a wrestling match with Jake Arrieta. And I thought that was interesting. I said, what do you mean wrestling match? He says, well, don't get sucked in by the movement on his pitches and try and wrestle with a ball that's in an area where he's trying to tie you up. It's about locking it on your spot where you can get something you think you can handle. I thought that was an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah.
Because if you get into a wrestling match with Jake Arrieta, you're going to lose.
Yeah, most hitters against the premier pitchers in the game, like Jake Arrieta, they either look in or out, up or down, hard or soft. You have to pick one. You can't go up there and try to cover all quadrants of the plate, every pitch, every speed. You just have to hope he makes a mistake in the area you're looking for.
2-2. Behind the bag at second. Crawford underneath it. Now Hernandez comes over. 2 outs. Interesting, he's fallen behind the last 3 hitters, Jake Arrieta, but so far he's got a double play ball and 2 pop-ups. A chance for Chris Owings, 259 and 1 home run. A start at second base for CO tonight. Ketel Marte moves over to shortstop, and Nick Abed gets a day off. Torrey continuing to rotate those off days around the regulars. And so this kind of worked out. It's a way for him to maneuver some guys around, get CO some more at bats, even though he's the primary right fielder against left-handers right now. He's in there at second tonight. It's it to third. Michael Franco. 3 up, 3 down for Jake Arrieta. D-backs trail the Phillies 1-0. The first time ever the NFL Draft is live on Fox. Join Troy Aikman and Joe O'Klatt. They're in Dallas for all the big picks Thursday, Friday, live on Fox and the NFL Network. You know, if only someone would talk about the NFL Draft.
Yeah, it kind of snuck up on us. We didn't even know.
Like on Sports Talk Radio or something, you think they'd mention it. Seems a little odd. Andrew Knapp, the catcher. 216 without a home run this year, switch hitter. Nationwide Vision Centers, eye on the game. D-backs have the shift on. A lot of talk that the Cardinals might trade up and try and get one of those quarterbacks.
Sounds like a game plan.
Zach Greinke down 1-0. Cesar Hernandez led off the ball game with a double into the right field corner that Gerard Dyson had trouble picking up. Hernandez went to third on the error by Dyson, scored on a Santana ground ball. 2-2 on the Phillies catcher. Boy, Zach outstanding his last time out. Beat the Giants last Thursday at Chase Field. 7 innings, the deepest he's gone into a ball game all year, and gave up just 1 run on 3 hits. Very effective last week pitching to contact. He only needed 2 strikeouts. A lot of weak contact in the air and on the ground. Swing and a miss. Gets his 2nd strikeout tonight.
I mentioned that that start for Zach against the Giants. He gave up a solo home run leading off the second inning to Brandon Belt, and basically that was it. Scattered the 2 other hits.
18 balls were put into play, turned into outs by the D-backs defense. He was really locating well. Michael Franco, the third baseman.
And let's be honest, he caught the Giants at a really good time. They were struggling to score runs. Still are.
They got beat up by the Nationals at home. Jeff Samardzija had a rough day today. Franco, 246, 2 homers. He singled, had an RBI sac fly last night. Here's some weak contact, foul ball, and Zach's ahead 0-2.
Yeah, weak contact. If Franco was using a 34-inch bat instead of a 34.5, he would have missed it. Just caught it off the very end of the bat that time.
He's still a bit of a free swinger up there. Fastball off the plate, but Greinke gets the call. He's now punched out 3 in a row. You're going to get that all night. It's going to be a short one.
Well, it remains to be seen if he's going to get it all night, because we've seen pitches in a similar location, even a little better than that, called a ball. So stay tuned.
Ed Hickok's back there. Here's J.P. Crawford, the shortstop. We didn't see him the ball game last night. 185. He's homered twice. Only 23 years old. Phillies first round pick in the 2013 draft out of high school in Lakewood, California. And he knocks this into center, a 2-out single. The third hit for the Phillies.
J.P. Crawford, a cousin of former Major League outfielder Carl Crawford. Runs in the family.
Yeah, Crawford has been the shortstop of the future for a while now, and the future is underway this year. Here's Arrieta. We saw him, I think it was a couple of years ago, hit one about 440 feet at Chase Field for a homer to left center.
Both these pitchers can swing the bat a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, not really surprising. You look at the best pitchers in the game, and they do things to help themselves win ball games. They get bunts down. They can put the ball in play as a hitter. They field their position well. They hold runners well. Makes their job a lot easier doing all those other things other than just throwing the baseball.
Greinke working that corner down and away. It's 1-1. There it is again. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Zach last week hitting a lot of corners, mixing in pitches up in the zone. He felt like if he got in trouble in terms of the count to the hitter, he was able to just let him put it in play, let the defense do something. That's usually his approach. Hernandez, the leadoff man, doubled and scored to start it off. He would be next. Swing and a miss. Greinke 3 strikeouts in the inning, 4 for the ball game, but he trails it 1-0.
by Geico at Dodger Stadium on April 25th, 1976. A couple of protesters were trying to light an American flag on fire out in left field, and Rick Monday, playing for the Cubs, would not let that happen. Rick Monday served 6 years in the Marine Reserves. It's been called the greatest play in the history of baseball.
We see Rick all the time. He works on Dodger radio, of course, with Charlie Steiner. Here in the city of Philadelphia, the cradle of freedom, as some like to refer to it here. The downtown skyline in the background as Jake Arrieta completes his warm-ups. We're set to go for the top of the third. D-backs and the Phillies. And Gerard Dyson, who homered here last night, will lead it off. You get around to the sites, some of the historic landmarks around town here?
I did on the off day. I put on my sneakers and started hiking and got lost a couple of times, but this is a great city to get lost in. You turn a corner and you might see something you've never seen before. Bump into the Liberty Bell, Norman Rockwell Museum.
Independence Hall just down the street from the hotel. Wonderful old buildings and narrow cobbled streets in some neighborhoods here. Here's a look at how they're going to play Gerard Dyson here. You see Franco in on the grass at third. Santana creeping in from first. Backdoor breaking ball missed. Gerard walked twice and homered last night. As you mentioned, Bob, third inning last night before the rain. He and Avila went back to back.
Oh, and absolutely crushed it. A fastball up and away, and he pulled it back to right field. Just missed the scoreboard out there in deep right field.
It was good to see for both guys who've gotten off to slow starts offensively this month. There's a bouncer for Crawford, and he can't handle it. Dyson's aboard. The rookie shortstop.
Tough play for any shortstop right there. You're hoping to get that last hop, make Crawford reach all the way down to ground level to field that ball, and unfortunately for the Phillies, fortunately for the D-backs, he wasn't able to keep it in the glove. That should be an infield single for Gerard Dyson.
Base hit. Jeff Mathis now. Dyson's speed on the bases. 2 for 2 in his stolen base attempts this year. Jeff at 182 on the season.
I talked to Dave McKay before the ball game about Arrieta. I asked, can you run on him? He says, well, you kind of have to pick your spots because Arrieta will throw over from the set position. He'll throw over on the way up. He'll throw over as he's getting the sign from the catcher. He's very aware of base runners, especially a guy like Gerard Dyson.
He has that very unusual stance right there when he looks in for the sign and then comes set. There's a throw over. Pretty quick.
I love to ask Dave McKay about pitchers because I asked him about Rios last night, the reliever for the Phillies that came in the game and that turned into a track meet. Every time the D-back got on base, they were breaking for second, and his eyes lit up. A big smile came on his face. Yeah, we got something.
Yeah, Goldie and AJ had back-to-back stolen bases in the 8th inning against Rios last night.
And both of them were on the run as Rios was still standing on the rubber.
Boy, Ed Hickox is not giving anything down at the knees to either of these guys. That was right there, but it's ball one. No low strikes here tonight, and you've got 2 Cy Young winners on the mound.
Yeah, every umpire is a little different, but generally when you get a matchup like this, you know there's going to be a lot of pitches around the edges of the zone, and you anticipate that. You should anticipate that.
He's been consistent, if nothing else, for the most part down there. So Arrieta, as a result, is behind 2-0. Dyson holding all the way. That's fouled off. Jake Arrieta was out on the free agent market all winter long and most of the spring. The asking price was reportedly too high for most clubs, either in terms of money or contract length. And as a result, he didn't sign with the Phillies until the middle of March. He got 3 years, $75 million. And really up until last week, he's been a bit behind in his schedule. He signed, there were only about 2 weeks left in spring training. Dyson takes off, and this one is hit through the hole, vacated by Crawford. Dyson jogs into third.
Well, we can't be sure if that was a hit and run or Jeff Mathis just taking advantage of a broken up infield. As Dyson breaks for second, you see J.P. Crawford, the shortstop, breaking to cover, and Jeff Mathis hit it right through the hole.
Good start to the third inning. They're on the corners, no outs, and here's Zach Greinke. Now, how do you play this first and third, no outs, and the pitcher up there?
I'm a big fan of the safety squeeze myself.
Especially with Dyson's speed at third?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if it's a good bunt, it could be anybody down there at third base. But, yeah, you know, at worst, you move that runner from first to second.
There it comes, and it trickles foul.
And if you put down a perfect bunt and Gerard Dyson reads it properly, he'll score from third base. You'll advance a runner to second. The only out will be at first. You know, when we play the Cubs this summer in this situation, you will see safety squeeze. That's one of Joe Madden's favorites.
The indefensible bunt play. I can't imagine it's easy to bunt against Jake Arrieta with all the movement he gets on his pitches. A look down to third. Tony Paraschica coaching down there, flashing the signs to Greinke. Zach squares again, pulls back, takes ball one. Here's TP at third.
Now, one of those signs may be what they call a repeater.
Which is what?
Well, the bunt was obviously on the first two pitches. Zach squared around to bunt. So rather than go back and give the bunt sign again and give the Phillies a good look at your signs, for example, you just hit the bill of your cap. That means the same sign is still on. And it stays on until you take it off. It sounds more complicated than it really is. But there may be a spot on Tony Paraschica's. He's going through the signs. Maybe right there when he hits the bill of the cap, same thing is still on. It's called a repeater sign.
2 balls and 1 strike. Dyson at third, Mathis at first. Nobody out. No bunt sign from Greinke there. Arrieta hits the corner down and away, and it's 2-2.
I mean, when I played for Roger Craig in San Francisco, in an obvious bunt situation, he would have us throw over to first base a couple of times just to make that third base coach go through the signs again. And if a team did not have a repeater sign, eventually you could figure out what their bunt sign was.
Well, they're not able to advance anybody as Greinke strikes out. First strikeout tonight for Jake Arrieta. Peralta flied out to lead off the ball game.
Couple of deep breaths from David before he gets in that left-handed batter's box. Slow himself down a little bit. Make sure he gets a good pitch to hit.
David Peralta takes on Jake Arrieta today. That's brought to you by AARP. He's had some luck with Arrieta before. Up at an RBI spot right here. First and third, 1 out. Wow. That is a tiny little strike zone up there for Ed Hickox. And I wonder how long these two guys are going to put up with this before they start to get a little upset.
Well, Arrieta is getting closer and closer. He was very frustrated after that last delivery.
I mean, that's right where he wants it. Knapp sets up, down and away. This is low with a fastball, and it's 3-0. Ketel Marte singled up the middle his first time up. David sends this to center field. Herrera backing up. This will get Dyson home to tie the ball game. Mathis stays put, and it's 1-1. The RBI for David Peralta, his 12th of the year.
Disciplined enough to get the swing away on that 3-0 count. Got a pitch up in the zone. He felt he could lift in the air to the outfield, and that gets the first run of the game home for the Diamondbacks.
So a run is in. Mathis still at first. 2 down for Ketel Marte. Floats a breaking ball up there and gets the strike call. Oh, and 2.
This would seem to be a good matchup for Ketel Marte to work on that opposite field stroke. That sinker is going to be moving away from him and down. If he can stay on it and try to drive it out there into left field, that would seem to be the best approach against Phillies right-hander.
There's some room out there in left center, although Herrera is shaded over there a couple of steps. Phillies were wondering what kind of Jake Arrieta they were getting. He wasn't great last year, certainly not dominant like he'd been before. Just turned 32 years old last month. Gabe Kapler was saying if they get the sort of mid-range version of Jake Arrieta, that's still a very good starting pitcher. If he's a little bit better than that, his average self, then he's basically unhittable. He was almost that in his last start against the Pirates. Here's the skipper, Gabe Kapler.
Now, one thing we know about Arrieta, he does not lack for confidence.
No.
My former partner in Chicago, Len Casper, tells a story about running into him in a coffee shop before a game one day that he was pitching.
Arrieta knocks it down and completes the out.
And Lenny asked him, what are you doing? He says, I'm getting ready to go dominate somebody.
Not these D-backs. It's 1-1. Phillies tied at 1. Fans, a reminder, bring your dog to the ballpark this summer. The PetSmart patio is a private area in left field that includes an enclosed table for 4 plus your canine companion, and it provides a perfect view of the ball game. Every table includes all you can eat ballpark food and a special doggy bag for your pet. Get all the info you need at dbacks.com/PetSmart. Cesar Hernandez, who doubled and scored to lead off the ball game for the Phillies, leads off the bottom of the 3rd against Zach Greinke. They're all tied at 1. Slow breaking ball misses, 1-1. Hernandez top 10 in the league at on-base percentage, nearly a .420 clip. And he's walked almost as much as he struck out this year. He's turned into a nice steady player for the Phillies. That's fouled off, and it's 1-2. Tries to hit the glove down and away, missed with a fastball, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hernandez, Santana, Herrera, 1, 2, and 3 in the Philly 3rd. Another base hit for Cesar Hernandez. He's 2 for 2.
A little frustrated with himself. Hernandez able to get to that changeup and pull it through the hole on the right side.
Leadoff man aboard for Santana. Santana got a 3-year, $60 million free agent deal in December. A guy that has a very good control and command of the strike zone. He's the guy that walks a lot, fits the Phillies profile. He had a very unique workout program at home in the Dominican Republic this winter. He pushed cars.
Huh?
Yeah, that's how he works out.
Wow.
He pushed a Mercedes around the parking lot of a fitness center. That's how he worked out. There was a guy driving, backing up, and Santana, he would get out in front of the hood, lean on the car, and push it backwards 120 yards. And he'd do that 8 times. Pushes that one into right field. Hernandez heads for 3rd. And the Phillies have runners in the corners with nobody out. He says it's a great workout. You use every single muscle in your body, pushing a Mercedes backwards.
Just called AAA. Well, it saves on gym memberships, I guess. You're just pushing cars around the parking lot. You never need to go inside.
Exactly. Odubel Herrera singled his first time up. Herrera 4 for 11 career against Greinke. 338 on the year. 2 on and no outs. Fastball up, it's 1-0. Herrera can get hot. Last year he went on one 11-game hitting streak that included 12 extra base hits in a row.
Wow.
In one 6-day span he hit 10 doubles and 2 home runs without singling. First Phillies player to do that in more than a century. Slices that one foul down the left field line, and it's 1-1. He should be a little more comfortable here. He used to be their best player along with Franco. And he got $30 million after the 2016 season. He was the first player in whom they made a long-term investment. But now Double is kind of surrounded by a wave of young Phillies players who've just now started to arrive, and he's more part of a group. There's a little flare into shallow center. AJ's under it. Hernandez coming home. Throws off line. And they have Santana hung up as the Phillies take a 2-1 lead.
Well, maybe AJ would have a chance to throw him out at the plate right there. Unfortunately, his throw really tailed up the third base line. Goldie read it well and cut it off and got the out at second base. No chance to get Hernandez at home.
This is not a team that's good at running the bases. They struggle. So a run is in, base is empty, 2 down for Rhys Hoskins, who flied out his first time up. That's 8-3-6-4-3 on the putout, or you can just write RD or PO, which is the way I use
run down
or picked off, one or the other. Otherwise, it looks like some kind of algebraic equation.
8-6-7-5-3-0-9. I just write Jenny.
Jenny. Swing and a miss. Slow curveball from Greinke. It's 1-2. Now, Rhys Hoskins, as we mentioned last night, is a very good 2-strike hitter. Defensive alignment, 3 infielders on the left side. Hoskins this year batting over 300 with 2 strikes, including 3 home runs. This is in.
Tell you, partner, the Diamondbacks have been much better recently with the rundowns. Remember, a few years ago they had some issues, and part of the reason is, look at this, when we pull back here, the entire team was on the infield.
How about that?
I mean, we see it all the time. The corner outfielders just kind of stand there and watch the infielders do their thing. Everybody was running into the infield to help if needed.
Mathis backing up first from the catching position. Outfielders coming in. Well, it's little things like that that add up, and you look up and you're 16-6, and you've got the best record in the National League.
And you might do it 99 times in a row and nothing ever happens, but the one time you don't run in to back up a play, that's when there's going to be an overthrow and the guy gets out of the rundown and you wonder what the heck happened. Well, you've got guys watching instead of playing.
Oh, he buckled Hoskins that time and rings him up. We're through 3. D-backs trail it 2-1. D-backs trail Philadelphia 2-1. A reminder, fans, you can stream live D-backs games on any of your mobile devices with Fox Sports Go. It's presented locally by your Valley Honda dealers. Download the free app and take Fox Sports Arizona and the D-backs with you wherever you go. Goldie leads off the fourth against Jake Arrieta. I have checked with your traveling staff, and I've seen the Doppler radar, and it looks good.
Oh, good. I checked it early today, and I thought we were good then, but things can change quickly back here on the East Coast.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the wind is swirling here. It's starting to cool down a bit. But there's a bunch of green globs above us and a whole nother bunch of green globs below us. And they seem to be moving on either side of the city. That's your weather update. Watch out for the green globs. Tap to third. Franco charges, bobbles, and Santana can't hang on. Michael Franco coming in from third.
We talked about Goldie last night legging out an infield hit. You can see Franco frustrated with himself. Just couldn't find the handle on the ball. Had to take a couple of extra steps before he fired across to Santana. And his throw was in the dirt.
E5 puts Goldie at first to start the fourth.
And once again, Goldie busting it down the line. Don't assume anything. In the big leagues, that's going to be an out. 99 times out of 100, Goldie's not going to be the one time not to run it out.
Amazing watching him run as fast as he does. He never appears to lift his knees up in the air. I don't know how he does it. AJ Pollock. When you watch Goldie run, his knees, they just, it defies science. But he can run the bases with the best of them.
I guess the way he looks at it, you can only propel yourself forward when your feet are on the ground. So why not keep the feet close to the ground?
AJ Pollock. Broken bat flare trying to get down. It drops in front of Hoskins. 2 on, no outs to start the D-back fourth.
All right. If you're AJ, you'll take it. If you're the Diamondbacks, you'll take it. You know, against Jake Arrieta, you're not going to be able to go up there and just wail away and square him up and drive the ball out of the ballpark with any kind of regularity. You take whatever you can get. A broken bat blooper into left will work.
AJ is now hit safely in 6 straight. Here's Descalso. Daniel walked and homered last night. Popped up his first time up tonight. He's got Goldie at second, Pollock at first, and nobody out. Jake Lamb continues making progress, we're told. Jake hit today, and he'll start a throwing program tomorrow as he deals with right elbow tendonitis, so that's some good news. Descalso in there at third tonight. There's a borderline pitch called a strike by Ed Hiccups. Arrieta now at 50 pitches through 3+. Fastball in, missed. It's 2-1. Crawford, the shortstop, keeps sneaking right up behind Goldie into his back pocket there at second. There he comes, creeping in there. Spun him around, 3-1. Chris Owings on deck.
We've talked a lot about that Jake Arrieta sinker in the early going tonight. If you leave Daniel Descalso that hole on the left side of the infield, that plays perfectly into taking that sinker the other way.
Yeah, Arrieta over his career has seen how four-seam fastballs tend to get whacked if they're not in the right spot, which is why several years ago he switched to predominantly throwing sinkers. And as he points out, if you have tailing action or sink on your fastball, it's hard to square it up. You don't have to be so precise with your location. Full count, 3-2. Pitch is low and the bases are full of D-backs with no outs. First walk issued by Jake Arrieta. Chris Owings the hitter.
Occasionally Arrieta can walk some guys. He's walked 2 in each of his first 3 starts this season. The first start was just over 4 innings of work, then 6 2/3. The last time out 7 innings. Each one of those starts he walked 2 guys.
Goldie at third, AJ at second, and Daniel Descalso at first. To get opportunities like this against Jake Arrieta, you've got to cash in.
Gotta.
CO career with the bases loaded, better than 370.
The infield is playing pretty much straight up for Chris Owings, but the outfield is shaded around to the opposite field. Odubel Herrera several steps over into the gap in right center, and Rhys Hoskins in left field way off the line.
Yeah, if Chris is able to pull anything down that left field line, it'll score all 3. Hoskins would have to run a half a mile to get to the baseball. See how far Herrera is shaded over toward right center field. Bases loaded and Arrieta's behind 2-0. There's that sinker, 2-1. Chris, a career .360 hitter in this ballpark. And he's hit safely in all 15 career games against Philadelphia. On another one, 2-2.
That was kind of odd. A 93-mile-an-hour sinker on the inside part of the plate. That's a ball that CO usually hits hard somewhere. He swung right through it.
So that goes back to maybe that crossfire delivery you were talking about.
Crossfire delivery and that late movement on that sinker.
It's got to be a tough at bat for a right-hand batter. 2-2. Just did get a piece.
Nobody close to AJ out there at second base. He can get a big secondary lead. Should be able to score on just about anything to the outfield.
It's full. Gerard Dyson on deck. Back-to-back 3-2 counts for Jake Arrieta. Dyson singled and scored his first time up. Low, he walked in a run, and we're tied at 2. Back-to-back walks by Jake Arrieta brings Goldie home, and Rick Kranitz to the mound. 2-2 ball game here in the 4th.
Yeah, I think occasionally Jake Arrieta is bothered by the same problem that gets Zach Godley from time to time. Everything moves so much, he has trouble consistently commanding the strike zone. He's had trouble with his off-speed deliveries. He's thrown a couple of good curveballs, but he's missed the zone more often than not with his breaking pitches. And that sinker we've talked about all night long, a lot of movement on that pitch, just having trouble keeping it in the zone right now. Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free crunchy beef tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
They're still loaded, still no outs. Here's Dyson. Pollock at third, Descalso at second, and Owings at first.
Pointed out by the truck that there's 4 runs so far scored in this ball game. None have scored via the base hit. A couple of sac flies, a ground out, and a bases loaded walk.
Dyson gets down to beauty, Ari. He had an underhand toss, and they're able to get the force on Pollock at the plate.
Just didn't get it far enough out there. Push it further down that line past Arrieta. Maybe you get an RBI bunt base hit on this one, but Arrieta, we talked about, he's a good athlete. Nice play right there. Bare hand shovel onto Knapp. Force play at the plate. No tag required.
Well, now you've got the 8 and 9 hitters due up with 1 out. Mathis singled his first time up tonight. Franco at third, backhands it, steps on the bag, and they're able to turn the double play. The D-backs, bases loaded, no outs. They can only get 1, but we're tied at 2. Field fans coming up next Saturday. D-backs and the World Series champs, the Houston Astros, before the 5 o'clock game. Head over to the free D-back Cinco de Mayo Fiesta. You'll enjoy live music, a salsa tasting, a beer and margarita garden, a whole lot more. First 20,000 fans will also get the State 48 Sugar Skull t-shirt, which is one of the best giveaway items we have all year. So join us, Cinco de Mayo, dbacks.com/Cinco. Aaron Altair leads off the bottom of the 4th against Zach Greinke. Altair struck out to win the first. Greinke has struck out 5 so far through 3 innings. He's not walked a batter. Left center, it hangs up for AJ. One down. Andrew Knapp, the catcher. Used to be Cameron Rupp the last several years, was one of the main guys behind the plate in Philadelphia, but they let Rupp go, and they're all in a combination of Andrew Knapp and Jorge Alfaro, who we saw in the ball game last night. Knapp, a switch hitter. He struck out his first time. D-backs have the shift on. They overload the right side. There's ball one. Knapp, a second-round draft pick out of Cal Berkeley in 2013. He's from Granite Bay, California.
Phillies haven't gotten a lot of offense from either one of their catchers. Alfaro, who was behind the plate in last night's game, hitting 170. Knapp was hitting 216 coming into play tonight.
You would think that this Phillies ball club would benefit with all the youngsters they have here. And they have Arrieta working with some of the young pitchers, and they brought Santana in here, a veteran bat, but it seems like they could really use a Jeff Mathis type.
Chucho Ruiz.
Yeah, well, perfect right there. They had one for a long time here, but it's just sort of that veteran presence back there to pull everybody together. And we all know what Jeff Mathis means to the D-backs. They call him coach inside the clubhouse. But the Phillies, with all these youngsters, seem to kind of be lacking that guy. Full count, 3-2. You know, somebody said today, a Russell Martin type would be good here. It would seem like a good fit. Franco on deck. Into the shift. Owings, the second baseman from the outfield grass. 2 down.
Hey fans, the day after every D-backs win, get 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price using promo code D-backs50 at papajohns.com.
4 straight set down by Greinke. 2 down in the 4th, and here's Maikel Franco, who struck out his first time up tonight. Drops that slow breaker in there and steals strike 1.
Right on the corner at the knees.
And he got the call, which he'd not been getting earlier in the ballgame, from Ed Hickox back there. Swing and a miss. Phillies 4 through 7 hitters so far. 0 for 7 with 4 punchouts. Hoskins, Altair, Knapp, and Franco. Waves at that one, and he's just going to give up and concede defeat. 6 strikeouts for Greinke. Through 4, we're tied at 2. T-Mobile, Matt Adams. Oh, big city off the shark. Jeff Samardzija in San Francisco. And there it goes. Matt Adams with some tremendous career numbers against Samardzija, and they just got better. Ooh. Nationals all over the Giants today at AT&T Park. Here's Zach Greinke leading off the fifth against Jake Arrieta. Here in Philly, we're tied at 2, the second of a 3-game series, the D-backs and the Phillies.
And the D-backs approach against Jake Arrieta seems to be working in the last couple of innings. The first 2 innings he threw 22 pitches combined. Last 2 innings he's thrown 42.
He really labored in that 4th inning, back-to-back walks, one with the bases loaded. And that brought home the tying run. He's only got 1 strikeout so far tonight. He struck out 10 Pirates his last time out last Thursday. This is hit out to second for Hernandez. That'll bring up David Peralta. David tonight drove in the D-backs' first run of the game, a sacrifice fly in the 3rd. He's 0 for 1. David last night singled, had a 2-run double. Well, that wind is blowing right now in the opposite direction of the way it was blowing last night. It's blowing across the outfield from left to right. Almost tore the right field foul pole. Fastball up, it's 2-0. D-backs, the National League's best record, 16-6, their best start in 10 years. And tonight looking for their 9th consecutive win here at Citizens Bank Park. Peralta hits one on a hop to Hernandez at second. 2 outs. D-backs have had some ownage against these guys lately. They've won 11 of their last 15 versus the Phillies. 2 down for Ketel Marte, who's 1 for 2. Backdoor breaking ball, and he steals strike 1. Well, you just get the feeling watching Arrieta's body language. He's not comfortable in his own skin out there tonight.
He's throwing some good curveballs. He's thrown some really lousy curveballs. He's thrown some good changeups. That last one very nearly hit Marte. He's not really consistent with his release point on his off-speed deliveries. Another changeup. Try it again.
Well, Arrieta, because he didn't sign with the Phillies until there were only about 2 weeks left in spring training, was behind in terms of getting ready for the season. Only 4 innings in his Phillies debut April 8th. He won at Tampa Bay in his next start, but had only 1 strikeout. That raised some eyebrows here. But he answered those questions last Thursday when he dominated the Pirates. 1 hit, 7 scoreless. He struck out 10. But he's not been that guy here so far tonight.
3 straight changeups to Ketel Marte in this at bat. He just wanted to convince himself that he could throw it near the strike zone. He missed so badly with the first one of the 3.
Well, that was the one thing he mentioned about that start versus Pittsburgh last week. The only thing that wasn't quite perfect for him was his changeup location. He didn't love it. Threw a pretty good pitch right there, but it's 2-2. Another low strike not called by Ed Hickams. And Arrieta usually gets that pitch.
The catcher didn't do him any favors that time. Kind of pushed that ball down out of the strike zone and tried to pull it back up to the bottom. Didn't get the call.
Here's the 2-2. One thing about getting Arrieta's pitch count up there and making him work, this is a very good Phillies bullpen. So you get no breaks when you start bringing in some Philadelphia relief pitchers. They got some guys back there that can chuck it. They're keeping Hernandez busy at second. 3-4-3 putouts, bottom 5 on the way. We're tied at 2. Tied at 2. What's next brought to you by CenturyLink. Our next D-backs telecast. Zach Godley and Steven Strasburg. Pretty good pitching matchup in the opener against the Nationals at Nats Park in D.C. Diamondbacks live pregame show comes your way Friday at 3:30. J.P. Crawford, the shortstop, leads off the Phillies' 5th against Zach Greinke.
You take your breaks where you can get them. Diamondbacks rolling into D.C. and they're going to miss Max Scherzer, who pitched today against the Giants out on the West Coast.
I like it. Every little bit helps. D-backs in that series will get Strasburg Friday. Former D-back Jeremy Hellickson scheduled to start Saturday for the Nats, and Gio Gonzalez on Sunday. And we're back home to face the Dodgers and the Astros. This will stay fair for Goldie. 6 in a row retired by Zach Greinke.
We're seeing both starting pitchers do what they intend to do when they started the ball game, pitch to soft contact. We saw 3 ground balls to second base in the top half of the inning, and now a slow roller to Goldie at first here in the bottom half.
In the meantime, there's an emoji drinking mimosas out there in the ballpark area, center field. Sure, why not?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. There's an upside down turtle. Oh, and 2.
Got the fanatic here. What do they need those guys for?
Exactly. Right there, Greinke rings up Arrieta. 7 strikeouts for Zach. He set down 7 straight. Here's the leadoff man, Cesar Hernandez, who was 2 for 2, a single, a double. He scored both Philly runs. It's that kind of production that makes the Phillies less than anxious to move him off second base, where Scott Kingery usually plays. So Kingery who's not in the lineup tonight, has been playing all over the field, and they leave Hernandez alone at second. Getting on base at nearly a .420 clip this year, and he's already 2 for 2 tonight. Gabe Kapler says he's been an absolute rock for the Phillies this year. Always finds a way to get on base, even when he's not driving the baseball. And Hernandez, a lot like Goldie, has a knack for going from an 0-2 count to a 3-2 count, just like that. Which is something you like in a leadoff man. He's ahead 3-1. Greinke with 7 strikeouts. He's not walked a batter. Santana on deck. Fouled away, and it's full 3-2. .70 pitches for Greinke through 4 2/3. That one is just by Owings, and Hernandez is on board again. He's 3 for 3.
Past a diving Chris Owings that time. Even though CO has been playing a lot of right field, he still takes his ground balls every day at second base, at shortstop, occasionally at third base. That one just snuck by it.
Carlos Santana has an RBI ground out and a single. He's 1 for 2. The switch hitter batting left-handed. That's his power side. Hernandez on the run. The throw from Mathis is right there. But Hernandez is safe, says Jerry Meals.
That was a nice quick tag down there by Daniel Descalso. I'm going to get another look at it here. That was a delayed steal. You saw him take a couple of shuffles towards second base, and then as the ball got in the hitting zone, only then did he break for second base. Wow.
And they will challenge the safe call at second. Descalso immediately pointed to the dugout. He wants a challenge, and he'll get one. And the headsets come on.
That delayed steal is particularly effective when there's a left-handed hitter at the plate, because the catcher can't see the runner taking that extra. Basically what it is a huge secondary lead. You take a couple of big steps, and then as the ball gets in the hitting zone, only then do you break for second base. The idea is you catch the middle infielders and the catcher by surprise. That looked like they got him.
And Jerry Meals in terrific position to make the call. And it is overturned. Another D-backs challenge. That's a win. And that ends the 5th. We're still tied at 2.
I know he's going to be walking through a tough situation, and maybe we helped him have a good day, and he helped us. You know, it goes both ways. It wasn't one-sided where we opened up you know, a new street and a new part of his life. He helped us too. So that's the good part of this team. They're very uplifting in both directions.
Todd Walsh back here in Philadelphia. Here's the first pitch, Steve, to Paul Goldschmidt, and it's in the dirt. I just love what Torey Lovullo had to say about our new friend Hunter that we met last night. You know the story by now, the Alex Avila home run. But the MRI today, this morning, on his way back to the Valley. Some tough news, but as his dad Andrew said today, they have the best doctors and, well, the best baseball team. So we're all thinking about Hunter, and we know we'll see him soon out at Chase Field. But his presence clearly felt around the Diamondbacks dugout.
It was a wonderful story, Todd, that you brought us last night. He picked out Alex Avila's bat. Alex had 3 hits, including a home run. So he had the magic touch. Goldie leads off the 6th inning. It's a ground ball right to Crawford at shortstop. High throw. Goldie slides under the tag of Santana, and he's safe at first. Crawford already has had 1 error tonight at shortstop, and he's got another one. E6. Oh, they ruled that the other one a base hit, pardon me. So that's his first error. The other one was on Michael Franco.
Just airmails that across the diamond. That's one of the few times it's okay to slide into first base. If you see that first baseman coming off the bag, you want to avoid the tag, and that time Goldie got down, got dirty, and is safe at first base.
That foot hit the bag awfully hard. Second error for the Phillies. A chance for AJ now. He singled his last time up. Oh, and 2. Crawford had the ball that he bobbled that was ruled an infield hit earlier in the ball game. He's just been hung with an error right there. Franco had the ball that he bobbled at third for an E5. It's been a bit of a rough night for the Phillies infield. This is in the air, right center field. Aaron Altair is there. 1 down in the 6th. Daniel Descalso has popped up, walked 0 for 1. D-backs with a win tonight can clinch their 8th straight series victory to start the year. No major league team has done that since the 2001 Seattle Mariners. No National League team has done that since the '77 Dodgers. Missed off the plate.
And we saw the Phillies shift for Chris Owings, giving him a lot of room down the left field line, and in the gap in left center. It's almost the opposite here for Daniel Descalso. You see Odubel Herrera way over in the gap in left center. Hoskins cheating toward the line, and Altair the only defender covering that entire right side of the outfield.
Goldie on the move, and he's in there. The throw goes into center, and he'll head for third. We saw that in the 8th inning last night. A stolen base and a throwing error put Goldie at third.
And Knapp's throw on the short hop down there.
We got the same thing tonight. Stolen base E2.
Crawford didn't really want to stick his nose in there too badly. Saw Goldie storming into second base on the slide there and kind of olayed that ball into center field. Goldie ends up at third.
The third error for the Phillies. That'll bring the infield in. Goldie at third, 1 out. 2 balls, 1 strike on Descalso. Fouled away, and it's 2-2. D-backs have had their chances against Arrieta. The best one was 4th inning. Bases loaded, no outs. They could only get 1 run home. A chance to take the lead right here with Goldie at third. Missed upstairs. Full count 3-2. Chris Owings on deck. Herrera in center, shaded over toward left center. Altair well off the line in right. This is right to Herrera. Goldie at third. And here he comes. Throw is way offline, and the D-backs take a 3-2 lead. RBI for Daniel Descalso.
Nicely done there. Daniel looking for a pitch up. Once Goldie got to third base, just wanted to once again get the ball in the air to the outfield. The second sac fly for the Diamondbacks tonight.
And that's another run that scores in this game without a base hit. CO had a bases loaded walk his last time up. D-backs got their other run on a Peralta sac fly in the third.
And once again, how about Goldie tonight? He reached in the 4th on an error. He reached in the 6th on an error and scored both times just because he hustled down the first baseline. Got himself on base, stole a bag, forced an error.
Arrieta now at 90 pitches. Phillies have scored their 2 runs on a Santana RBI ground out and a sacrifice fly by Odubel Herrera. D-backs a pair of sac flies and a bases loaded walk. Arrieta approaching his season high, which was 97 pitches. He's at 92 right now. There's no one warming up in the Philly bullpen. This is low, and it's 2-2. Gerard Dyson would be next. Fastball away, got the call that time from Ed Hickox. D-backs take a 3-2 lead. sac fly have given the D-backs a 3-2 lead. Fans, we take a minute to remind you can watch every out-of-market regular season game live at home, in the office, or on the go with MLB.tv. It includes MLB At Bat Premium, which lets you watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Visit MLB.tv for all the details. Carlos Santana leads off the Phillies' 6th against Zach Greinke. Santana has singled. He's got an RBI groundout. D-backs have been out hit 6-4, but they lead at 3-2. Helped in part by 3 Philadelphia errors in this ball game. There's the strike. D-backs overload the right side of the infield against Santana, the switch hitter. These are the guys who've done all the damage. Hernandez, Santana, Herrera, they're 1 through 3 hitters. So far combined 5 for 6 with both RBIs. Hernandez has got 2 singles and a double. He scored both their runs. Santana, the RBI ground out the single. Herrera, a single and an RBI sac fly. That's been all their offense so far. Santana's hit the ball hard this year, just not shown up in the numbers. He's been their hard luck guy. Gabe Kapler says he's had the unluckiest start in baseball. They're pleased with the process and they expect the results will show up in time. He's not homered since April 7th.
Santana's one of those guys that historically heats up when the weather heats up.
Yeah, he's going to hit a few home runs in this ballpark.
Yeah.
1-2. Launches one to deep right field right here. It's headed toward the fence. And that is a fair ball in play. Santana will stop at second with a double. He just missed a home run right there. They've got the padded area of that fence, then a shelf, and then some more fencing, and it hit up there somewhere. Yeah, and stayed in the yard.
I think it hit off that fencing you're talking about above the top. Right there where that fan is. Yeah,
wow.
Didn't miss by much.
Woo.
And that one actually hit off the railing itself. If it hits a little bit lower, it drops straight down to Gerard Dyson, but it hit off that railing and ricocheted away far enough for Santana to end up at second base with his 5th double of the season.
He's the tying run. Here's Odubel Herrera. Herrera singled in the first. He's now hit safely in 8 straight games. Greinke working up in the zone. It's 0-1. There have been times before when we've had to put a clock on Odubel Herrera. He is in no hurry up there. Seems to have picked up the pace just a bit this season.
Look at that right foot. How can that be comfortable?
How does he maintain any balance? Greinke goes back upstairs, but Herrera lays off this time, and it's 1-1.
It's not uncommon to see a guy raise up on his toe on that front leg that pushes balance back to the back leg and then shift forward when he's ready to swing the bat, but I've never seen anybody get on the instep of their shoe like he does.
Just rocking back and forth. Greinke now at 80 pitches for the ball game. One of the benefits of last night when the D-backs scored a bunch of runs late is that Torrey, although he used Yoshi Hirano for 1 inning 10 pitches, did not have to use either Archie Bradley or Brad Boxberger. So the bullpen tonight in pretty good shape. Missed away, and it's 3-1. The dangerous Rhys Hoskins is on deck. And you don't want to have to give him anything to hit if you can help it.
You mentioned Archie Bradley didn't have to pitch in the ball game last night. He's the one relief pitcher with the jacket off down there. He's ready to go.
The beard keeps him warm. Again, Greinke goes upstairs. Full count, 3-2. See if you can get Herrera to chase something here. And you'd have a base open for Hoskins. That'd be nice. He's able to hold off on a pitch down and low. A double and a walk start the Phillies' sixth. First base on balls issued by Greinke tonight. Boy, Zach Greinke, that's just his third walk all season. This is his fifth start.
Zach's calling out Jeff Mathis here. He wants to talk over exactly what they're going to try to do to Rhys Hoskins in this situation.
Now remember, this is the one guy they don't want to beat them. Rhys Hoskins is the best hitter in this lineup.
And I would expect Mike Butcher, to head on out there. We've seen this happen repeatedly this season. Why waste a mound visit? Jeff Mathis goes out to talk. Pitching coach joins.
You might as well turn it into community auditions. It's amazing how often, to me, Bob, these visits, the discussion is not with the pitcher but the catcher. And that seems to be what's happening right here.
Well, Zach Greinke and Jeff Mathis are in constant communication between innings. When they go back offensively to swing the bats, those two always sit next to each other. They're talking about it, bats that happened in the previous inning, anticipating the hitters that are coming up in the next inning. These guys are always on the same page.
Big spot in the ball game right here. First and second, nobody out. Hoskins is 0 for 2. He has flat out struck out looking. Good start, 0-1. Hoskins leading the major leagues in on base percentage. .495 coming into the ball game tonight. Won't chase a pitch below the zone, and it's 1-1. Hoskins last night walked twice, singled, and scored. He's hit safely in 9 of his last 10 games. Lays off a low breaking ball. Andrew Chafin starts to heat up in the D-back bullpen. Chafin threw 13 pitches last night, came on in the 6th inning. Santana, the runner at second, and Odubel Herrera at first. This is not a team that runs the bases very well. They will run into outs out there. 2-1, swing and a miss. It's 2-2. But keep in mind, Hoskins hitting over 300 this year with 2 strikes, including 3 homers. Aaron Altair on deck. Got him. Went to the curveball at 67 and gets an enormous strikeout of Hoskins. 1 down.
I think that's the first curveball he's thrown today. Let's take a look at that sequence. Started out with back-to-back changeups, 1 for a called strike, 1 in the dirt trying to get him to fish. Missed away with a slider. Come back to the changeup, got the swinging strike right there, and that big banana curveball at 67 miles an hour for strike 3.
That's a big time out number 1. Here's Altair 0 for 2. Those are the kind of battles in a moment like this in a ball game that you look to your ace to win. And Greinke came through big time.
And goes to a pitch that, as I said, I don't think he's thrown one in the game. He's been mostly changeup, fastball, a couple of sliders here and there, but that was the first big slow curveball we've seen for a while.
Saved it for a big spot.
Not really trying to pick Santana off at second base, just trying to shorten up his lead a little bit so he'll have trouble scoring on a base hit to the outfield.
Fastball right at the knees, just below the strike zone, and it's 1-1. Altair had a big hit in last night's game, a 2-run double that tied the game at 2 in the 3rd inning. Greinke at 90 pitches right now. His season high is 92. Two and 1. Aaron Altair, the hitter out of Agua Fria High School in Avondale. He's got Santana at second, Herrera at first. This is hit deep to center. AJ backing up at the track, at the wall, and it's gone. Aaron Altair, his 3rd, a 3-run homer, and the Phillies have a 5-3 lead.
There hasn't been a lot of solid contact against Zach tonight, but that slider just stayed right in the middle of the plate that time. Didn't take the break down low and away. And Altair made him pay to straightaway center field.
Shift is on for the catcher, Andrew Knapp. That's the first time in the ball game tonight that any runs have been scored via a base hit. Hard to first, a 1-hopper for Goldie. 2 outs. Aaron Altair out of Avondale. He was a 9th-round pick by the Phillies back in '09. Michael Franco now, bases empty, 2 down. Greinke at 94 pitches. His spot is due up 3rd in the top of the 7th. Center field, Pollock will play it on a hop. Franco a 2-out single. The shortstop, J.P. Crawford. Crawford has singled and grounded out, 1 for 2. 23-year-old rookie. Crawford got his first big league call up last year, played in just over 20 games. Came up in September. And they've slow played him a bit. They keep him generally away from left-hand pitchers. He was not in the starting lineup last night against Robbie Ray. One and two.
Well, we talked about this in the past. I think occasionally you do a player a real injustice when you do that. I mean, you can understand the theory. You know, you want to protect the guy. You don't want him to get overwhelmed at the major league level because there's a lot of really good left-handed pitching. But by the same token, this is a guy that's played against everybody his entire career. All of a sudden you get to the big leagues and you become a part-time player because they're trying to protect you.
Swing and a miss. Greinke gets his 9th strikeout. Aaron Alter's 3-run homer has put the D-backs down 2.
Hey fans, a D-backs home run tonight means a free jumbo jack tomorrow at participating Jack in the Box locations with the purchase of a large drink.
Well, now's just the time. Gerard Dyson homered last night. He'll lead off the 7th inning. Jake Arrieta back out there for the Phillies. The bullpen, however, is busy. Garcia and Morgan warming up for Philadelphia with Arrieta at 94 pitches. Corners in for the Phillies. There's ball 1. Dyson in right field tonight. We got some encouraging news on Steven Souza Jr. today. He was down today, but he's been throwing from 60 and 90 feet, and he'll ramp up tomorrow, we're told, and work up to throwing from 120 feet, coming off that pectoral strain. Along the left field line, Hoskins over near the seats, and he's got it. One down for Jeff Mathis.
Well, you get Steven Souza Jr. and Jake Lamb back in this lineup. Talk about lengthening a lineup.
Oh, what a difference that's going to make. And they're both close. But you look at the 16-6 record, the best mark in the National League, and you're saying, okay, they've done most of it without their 4 and 5 hitters this year, which is just remarkable. Mathis fouls that one back. Looks like Christian Walker has come out in the on deck circle, set to hit for Zach Greinke. Phillies have been playing well. They've won 13 of 17, 9-2 here at home this year, and they've handed Jake Arrieta a 5-3 lead. He's now at 100 pitches for the ball game. Gabe Kapler has his bullpen busy. 3-1 on the D-backs catcher with Walker on deck. Franco at third. So Walker bats for Greinke. Christian walked as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning last night.
Boy, did Christian Walker put on a show in batting practice today. Hit several balls up into that second deck underneath the scoreboard in left field. I mean, when you're a guy, you know that your only job for this team is to take that one at bat. Sometime in the ball game, batting practice becomes your game. You go out there and really try to get something out of batting practice every day. And his last round, he just decided he was going to see how far he could hit it.
Well, they're checking all the data, all the analytics they've got on Christian Walker. Hot zones, cold zones, the whole thing. Where do we pitch him? Fastball right there at the knees. A sinker missed, though. It's 2-0. Well, Christian has quite a resume. Of course, last year's Pacific Coast League MVP. Hit 32 home runs with the Reno Aces. 114 RBIs. Led all of minor league baseball in runs batted in. That one's foul right behind Tony Perez-Cheek at third. Christian homered twice last year as a pinch hitter. Both times at Chase Field as a September call-up. Two and two. David Peralta has an RBI sac fly tonight.
Yeah, Phillies have double-barreled activity in their bullpen. I'm not sure if David Peralta would get another at bat against Jake Arrieta. It would be his 4th plate appearance in the ball game.
D-back still with only 4 hits in the game. And that one is lined right to Hernandez. So Arrieta gets through 7, holding a 5-3 lead. Seventh inning stretch, 21,000 plus here at Citizens Bank Park. Fans, Mother's Day just a few Sundays away. Spend time with mom, family, friends, and air-conditioned comfort at Chase Field May 13th. First 10,000 moms with us get the D-backs tote bag courtesy of bubbly sparkling water. Get your tickets at dbacks.com/mom. New pitcher for the Diamondbacks, the Sheriff Andrew Chafin. Scott Kingery will be the pinch hitter to lead off the home half of the seventh inning, batting for the pitcher Arrieta. We saw Chafin in the ball game last night through 13 pitches, his 10th appearance of the year. It was a rough night last night for the Valley native Scott Kingery. He was batting third in the lineup for Gabe Kapler, and he punched out all 4 times he was up there. The rookie hitting .216 with 2 home runs. He is scuffling as of late. Kingery just 2 for his last 25 at the plate. Out of Mountain Point High School in Ahwatukee and U of A. The second round pick by the Phillies in 2015. In Tucson, he was Pac-12 Player of the Year. Nibbles get the strike, and it's 2-1.
A little bit of an oddity for Zach Greinke tonight. He's given up 6 home runs on the season. 4 of them have been solo shots. Aaron Altair's, however, a 3-run bomb.
After he got that big strikeout of Reese Hopkins, too. Well, Chafin missing here. He's behind 3 balls and 1 strike with Hernandez on deck. He's 3 for 3 tonight. Fastball fouled back, and it's full 3-2. Strikeouts starting to pile up for Scott Kingery. 11 punch out in his last 19 times up. He's been swinging at balls in the dirt, which he says has always been one of his weaknesses. So teams have been working him a lot lately with off-speed pitches, trying to get him to chase. Let's see what Chafin goes to here. Got a fastball, fouled it off.
D-backs play Kingery pretty much straight up, with the exception of Gerard Dyson, who's playing really shallow out there in right field.
Another fastball, another foul ball. A couple of switch hitters coming up after Kingery, so with the lefty Chafin out there, you'll flip Hernandez and Santana to the right side. Backdoor breaking ball, and Ed Hickox rings him up. Another strikeout for Kingery.
We'll take it, but that pitch was never in the strike zone. Breaking ball that starts over in the left-handed batter's box, doesn't quite get to the outside corner. Hang with him, kid.
Yeah, that's tough. Hernandez has singled twice, doubled. He scored 2 runs. 3 for 3. Now up to 317 on the year. Hernandez, a switch hitter, only really a handful of bats from the right side of the plate this year. Hit about 280 as a right-hand batter last season. Right center, AJ on the run, and he tracks it down.
Oh, what a great first step for A.J. Pollock out there in center field. So much easier for the center fielder to read the ball off the bat because you see where the pitch is in relation to the plate. Is it inside? Is it outside? Was he early on the swing? Was he late on the swing? A.J. off like a shot that time to run down that line, drive in the gap.
Well, you've got to be such a tremendous athlete to play center field in the big leagues. Here's Santana. He has single, doubled, scored a run. He's got an RBI. No, we didn't go, says John Tumpane. Santana's last time up, he doubled off the railing in the right field corner, just missed a home run. Fastball's in there. And a Morgan, the left-hander, continues throwing in the Phillies bullpen. They've got Peralta due to lead off the 8th inning, followed by Ketel Marte. Fouled off, and it's 1-2.
Batting right-handed last night, Santana swung at a pitch and let the bat go. Went clear down past the end of the third base dugout.
In that pouring rain last night, it rained hard from the 5th inning on with no let up. The forecast for tonight was not promising, but so far so good. Actually didn't really rain all day long. It was just kind of cloudy and gross. Hard to short. Oh, what a play. Ketel Marte spins and throws. And Chafin works a 1-2-3 7th. A pretty play by Marte. The freight train leads off the 8th. D-backs Spanish broadcast returns to Fox Sports Arizona Plus when they play the World Series champion Houston Astros. 5 o'clock, presented by your Valley Honda dealers and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. You'll find the Plus channel listing and the 25-game Spanish TV schedule at foxsportsarizona.com. The great Oscar Soria broadcasting here from Citizens Bank Park, along with the former mayor of Benson, Arizona. Left-handed strikeout specialist Adam Morgan on to start the 8th inning for the Phillies. David Peralta leads it off.
Sinker slider changeup combination from Morgan. You'll see a lot of sliders. That's his go-to pitch. There's one right there.
David drove in a run with a sacrifice fly in the 3rd. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Peralta this year 8 for 30 versus left-hand pitchers. That's a .267 batting average, including 1 home run.
Well, that Morgan slider is not a what they call a dot slider that just moves sharp and quick late. It's a big sweeper. He starts it right at the left-handed hitter, breaks it all the way across the strike zone.
Well, that one was outside, but it's 1-2. Fastball up, and he punches out Peralta to start the 8th.
Oh, at 96 on that heater after a series of slow breaking sliders. He rushes one right past David. I didn't realize Morgan had that kind of gas.
He's put up some big strikeout numbers. Ketel Marte will bat for the right side now. 1 for 3, a single in the first. Yeah, since the start of last season, Adam Morgan has averaged about 10.5 strikeouts per 9 innings pitched. Drops a breaking ball in there, 0-1.
Morgan, the lone lefty in that Phillies bullpen. They're loaded with power right-handed arms, but Morgan, the only left-hander.
Fastball at his foot, tried to bunt, 1-1. Bullpen has been busy as of late for the Phillies. Luis Garcia, the right-hander. That one almost got Dave McKay down there. Our next telecast, we're with you Friday from Nats Park in D.C. Diamondback Live pregame show at 3:30. The first of 3 games set against Bryce Harper and the Nationals. Zach Godley and Steven Strasburg Friday. Two and two. Diamondbacks still with only 4 base hits in the ball game. They've been out hit 9-4. They trail at 5-3. Four hits, all singles. In the hole by Franco and Crawford. And Marte has a 1-out knock. He's 2 for 4. Chaz Roberts, air conditioning and plumbing, cool plays of the game. More Goldie hustle.
Hustle, hustle, hustle. You love to see it from a professional athlete. Paul Goldschmidt does it on a daily basis. Force Franco to rush his throw. He reaches on an air, ends up scoring on that air. Another ground ball to the left side. J.P. Crawford this time throws it away. Goldie slides under the tag, steals a base, moves up to third on the throwing air, and scores on a sac fly. Hustle bottom 2 runs tonight.
And that's one of the best power hitters in the game. And Gabe Kapler will not let the left-hander face Goldie. He'll bring in Garcia. We take a break from Philly. It's 5-3, but they've got the tying run at the plate in the 8th inning as Goldie steps in to face right-hander Luis Garcia.
One of those right-handed power arms I was talking about. Average fastball this year sitting right at 96 miles an hour. Also has a slider and a split finger.
Goldie has twice reached on an error and scored a run. He's also stolen a base. Marte at first, 1 out. Goldie over his last 13 games hitting better than .380 with 10 extra base hits. So that slow first couple of weeks is a distant memory right now. Oh for 4 career against Garcia. Fastball up at 98, 1-1.
I'd have to ask him about it specifically, but I think Goldie's one of those guys that doesn't like all the hoopla, the opening day and all that stuff. He just wants to grind. He just wants to play ball every day. And now that he's into his rhythm, he's taken off.
I think that's an excellent start. There's a strike at the knees, or an excellent theory about the slow start, because there's all the bunting and the introductions, and we were, of course, opening day at home, and then the home opener in St. Louis. A lot of the hoopla.
And he's the ringleader of this Diamondbacks team, so everybody was looking to him early in the season to jumpstart the team, and he just couldn't get it going early on.
Swing and a miss. First base occupied. There's the strikeout for Garcia. 2 down in the 8th.
That's that hard slider from Luis Garcia. Backs up a 96-mile-an-hour fastball with an 83-mile-an-hour slider in the dirt for strike 3.
AJ Pollock 1 for 3 with a single. AJ's hit safely in 6 straight. Center field right at Herrera. And Garcia gets the job done. Bottom 8 on the way. D-backs trailer 5-3. Ahead for the upcoming holiday games, fans, at Chase Field. Next Saturday, Cinco de Mayo against the Astros. May 13th, Mother's Day versus the Nats. Followed by Memorial Day, May 28th, and Father's Day, June 17th. All the holiday games have excellent giveaways. So mark your calendars, get your tickets. dbacks.com. Andrew Chafin back out there for the bottom of the 8th inning to face Odubel Herrera, who has singled knocked in a run with a sacrifice fly, walked and scored. A productive night from the 3-hole for Herrera, who's at .338 on the year. Tell you what, when he swings and misses, he swings and misses. He's as close as we've got to George Scott these days, the boomer. From the other side, of course, but the helmet goes flying, the bat all the way around. The boomer used to look like that, to take a big cut and miss, almost fall over.
Boomer used to wear that big necklace. And somebody asked him one time, "What's that made out of?" He said, "Second baseman's teeth."
It's a great line, isn't it? One of the all-time greats, the late great George Scott. Boy, he was a great defensive first baseman too. And there's a swing and a miss. Chafin gets the strikeout.
Well, Herrera's a good hitter, but looked a little overmatched in that at bat against Andrew Chafin. Just didn't want to hang in there. That big high leg kick and then stepping right down the first baseline.
Well, you've got Hoskins and Altair coming up, and Torey Lovullo a slow walk out to the mound to get his left-hander. And Fernando Salas, who's been tremendous this year, got the win last night, is on his way in. Back after this. The 2018 season, the right-hander Fernando Salas, who was the winning pitcher last night, who improved to 3-1 on the year. And he'll try and keep this a 5-3 ball game with Rhys Hoskins and Aaron Altair due up in the Phillies' 8th.
10 strikeouts against only 2 walks in 14 2/3 innings of work for Fernando Salas. He just comes in and pounds the bottom of that strike zone.
Salas threw 19 pitches in the ball game last night. Was the first guy on in relief of Robbie Ray. Here's Hoskins, who is 0 for 3. He's punched out twice. Talked last night about that front foot of Rhys Hoskins. Just kind of raises up off the ground and hovers there for a moment. Watch it come sort of toward his back leg as it comes up right there. Some guys like Herrera have the exaggerated high leg kick. Other guys have the quick jab step. He's kind of in between there. The closer starts to get up for the Phillies, the right-hander Hector Neris, who has been nearly perfect in save opportunities since last year. That one is by Marte and into left. Hoskins a 1-out single. That's the 10th hit for Philadelphia. The biggest one was this guy, Aaron Altair. A 3-run home run to dead center off Zach Greinke in the 6th inning that made it 5-3 Phillies. Greinke had struck out Hoskins after a double by Santana and a walk to Herrera. But then Altair got a hanger and he didn't miss it. His 3rd home run of the year. This one is headed toward the right field corner, but it's slicing out of play. This was Altair in the 6th.
Right in the middle of the plate, one of the few really bad pitches that Zach made tonight. Just left it too much of the strike zone. Altair made him pay.
Altair had a really slow start to the year. He was 3 for 39 up there, but he's really starting to heat up right now. He's hitting 4 straight games. Up the middle, Marte moves around. Chris Owing steps on the bag and turns 2. We hit the 9th in Philly. D-backs down 2. Back and forth we've gone. D-backs and Phillies. Zach Greinke, Jake Arrieta. You saw the Aaron Altair homer. That's been the difference. A 3-run shot in the 6th inning that made it 5-3 Philadelphia. And now Gabe Kapler brings on his closer, Hector Neris, who has been nearly perfect in this role since last June. He has blown 1 save this year, 4 for 5, an ERA right at 4.
Sinker splitter combination from Neris. You'll see a lot of split finger fastballs. So far this season, he's thrown it about 52% of the time.
That blown save April 11th versus the Reds that had ended a streak for him of 21 consecutive save opportunities closed. Daniel Descalso leads off the D-backs 9th. Daniel tonight has popped up, walked, and he snuck in a run with a sac fly. Diamondbacks with only 5 hits tonight. Little rain starting to fall down. Just a couple of drops here as we start the 9th inning.
Well, they said around 10 o'clock there was a chance for some rain tonight. It's what, about 10 minutes till 10 local time.
There's a fastball, and it's 2-2. Giants lost at home this afternoon. Washington beat them 15-2. A rough day for Jeff Samardzija. David Dahl had a 2-run triple for the Rockies. They beat the Padres 5-2 at Coors Field. And Descalso looks at strike 3. Here's Chris Owings. CO took a bases loaded walk in the 4th. He's 0 for 2. Dodgers right now hosting the Marlins. Miami has a 4-0 lead. Clayton Kershaw started that game for LA. Kershaw walked 6 batters in 5 innings.
Wow.
112 pitches for Kershaw through 5. And former D-back Daniel Hudson has come on in relief for the Dodgers right now after Kershaw struggled. Six walks in 5 innings for Clayton Kershaw. Wow. Fastball missed. 1-1. D-backs looking for a base runner here. They've been out hit 10-5. They trail it 5-3 in the 9th. Dice it on deck.
Kershaw in that game ended up throwing 112 pitches in 5 innings of work.
How about that? Ooh. CO ahead, 3 balls and 1 strike. And there's your base runner. It's ball 4, a 1-out walk. We talked about Chris being more selective at the plate. He's walked twice tonight, once with the bases full. And here's Dyson, who's 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored. Jeff Mathis is the next hitter due up. Alex Avila is in the on-deck circle after his big night here last night. That one rolls away from Knapp, and CO's at second. Wild pitch. Oh, come on, man. Tying run at the plate in the 9th inning. Knapp wants a word. Neris is all over the place. He walked Owings, and now he's behind on Dyson.
Yeah, just can't get that splitter close enough to the strike zone to get the D-backs hitters to chase. Got a good fastball, 94 miles an hour, but just can't get that splitter where he wants it.
Looks like the rain that just started for a moment or two has let up. Two balls and one strike. Missed again. It's 3-1. Avila on deck. Got a fastball just off the plate. It's full 3-2. Dyson homered here last night, his first of the year. Avila on deck, set to hit for Mathis. Pitcher spot behind him. Owings at second, 1 out, 3 balls and 2 strikes on Gerard Dyson.
Knapp and Naris very stubborn with that splitter. They're going to keep going to it, even though he's had trouble commanding it. Threw it right there on the 3-2 pitch to Dyson.
One more time on 3-2. Got him. Second strikeout for Naris, 2 down.
After missing all over the place with that splitter, he drops one right on the inside corner. Dyson swings over the top.
So Avila will hit for Mathis, tying run at the plate, 2 outs, 9th inning. Avila singled twice and homered last night, 179 on the year. He led off the third with a no-doubter off the facing of the second deck in right. Phillies have the shift on. This is upstairs. This was Alex in the third.
No doubter, deep right center off the facing of the upper deck, followed by a Gerard Dyson home run deep to right field.
Pitcher spot behind him, and another catcher is in the on-deck circle, John Ryan Murphy. Swing and a miss. There's the split, 1-1. Three balls and one strike. Murphy would be next.
Good take right there by Alex. Saw that splitter in the middle of the zone and realized that by the time he swings at it, it's probably going to end up in the dirt or at least below the strike zone. So he lays off, gets a good count in his favor.
Harris has gone to 3-ball counts on the last 3 hitters. Got a seam. Full count, 3-2. 21,000 plus on their feet in Philly. D-backs down to their last strike. Late time granted by Ed Hickox. He walked him. Second walk in the inning by Hector Neris, and Murphy will hit.
Alex Avila representing the potential tying run in the ball game. You can see a runner, looks like Devin Marrero, popping out of that third base dugout, head on down to first, and he'll run.
John Ryan Murphy. John Ryan struck out as a pinch hitter in the 8th inning last night. Rick Kranitz out there to talk to Hector Neris. Marrero will run for Avila.
How about a hanging splitter right here?
Well, we've seen John Ryan. He can handle the bat. He's got good power. Couple of home runs, couple of wall ball doubles. 2 on and 2 out. Tying runs aboard. Go ahead run at the plate. 1-0. Neris about to throw his 25th pitch of this 9th inning. Well, he's all over the map here. 2-0. Phillies bullpen will get busy. Dubre Ramos. Three 3-0 on John Ryan Murphy. He's gone to 3 ball counts on 4 consecutive batters. Peralta would be next. You got another base runner here. A single ties the game. There's a strike. 3-1. Chris Owings is the second. Devin Marrero, the pinch runner, is the tying run at first. 3-1 to John Ryan Murphy. Full count, 3-2. 3 consecutive full counts for Neris. Pitch number 29 in the inning on the way.
Now the difference in this full count is the runners are going to be in motion. A well-placed hit might score both of them.
Here it is. In the air, left center field. Herrera on the track. He's got room, and that's the ball game. Neris walks the high wire, but the Phillies hang on, and the D-backs drop this one 5-3. The series now even at a game apiece.
A rare home run by Zach Greinke, given up by Zach Greinke rather, with runners on base. The difference in the ball game tonight. He's been so good this year about limiting the damage when he does give up a long ball, but the 3-run bomb by Altair, the big one tonight.
Zach Greinke gets the loss. He drops to 2-2. Jake Arrieta wins it. He's 3-0, the 5th save of the year for Hector Neris. Back with much more from Philly after this.